Like all mining operations in New Zealand, Ekko coal mine near Reefton is governed by strict regulations about how it can operate, including the management of its water resources. One of the people leading the work to ensure Ekko's water meets the required standards is Verum Group consultant Dave.
Ekko Mine has a resource consent to discharge their water as long as the pH is high enough and the metal concentrations are low enough. And that's when they hire me and they say, Dave, help!
And Dave has been helping. For several years now, Ekko has been at the forefront of an innovative passive water treatment technology using mussel shells.
We all love mussels, right? The whole world loves our greenlit mussels, so much so that it's our #1 seafood export. But we don't export the shells, so we have mountains of shells, shell waste.
From about 2006, Dave and teams of university students were working with another coal mine, investigating how well the calcium carbonate from mussel shells would work in the treatment of mine water. It turns out they worked far better than anyone expected.
And we thought, well, why is it working so well? And we all did more and more research and concluded that there's more reactions taking place than just the shells dissolving. When they harvest the shells, there's bits left behind in the shells. You know, all up, it adds to about 10% by mass of extra mussel meat. And that mussel meat feeds sulfate-reducing bacteria, iron-reducing bacteria. So these systems that we build are actually bioreactors.
Ekko wasn't involved in Dave's initial research with mussel shell reactors, but mine manager Eamon was an enthusiastic early adopter.
At the time I said, well, it'd be safer just to put in an active treatment plant because these mussel shell reactors are kind of new. We don't really know how well they're going to work. But Eamon, he just said, no, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Well, we not only gave it a go, but we built the country's largest one.
Leaving Dave and the mussels to it, I was keen to get back to the pit for the big blast that the Prime Explosives guys were setting up. But before Frank and his team were ready to let me make some rocks fly, I wanted to see how Eamon and his rehab crew have already begun returning this place to beech forest.
At the 13-year mark, we're looking at 8 to 10 metre high beech trees, and in another 10, 12 years the beech will be well ahead, well established, reseeding, and we will have a fully re-established beech forest.
Because this is public land, Ekko has paid a bond to the Department of Conservation that is only released once they establish 40% canopy cover.
There is the diameter of the tree covering at least 40% of the ground around it. So we go for a time frame of 10 years to make sure that we reach that 40, and we're achieving it 2 years earlier using this method.
That method is a rather unconventional approach of starting with grasses rather than tree seedlings.
Basically start off with a sowing of lotus major, brown top and Yorkshire fog. That then starts a process in the ground creating humus, a soil layer, and the lotus major actually has nitrogen nodules that puts nitrogen in the ground that then assists with getting the plants growing. Little wee white dots there.
Eamon credits the development of this method to forestry guru Russell Fitzgerald. Initially, Eamon says, people had doubts about how effective grasses could be.
There was a bit of pushback on that, but the results speak for themselves, and the grasses get that established, and within time the grass dies down underneath the trees and the litter from the trees cover the ground, and we get the natural ground cover that we have in the existing forest around us.
I heard a Wrigley heading in the direction of the pit and my date with a detonator. So I took the chance to jump in with its driver, Rodrigo.
I am from Brazil, got my citizenship no long ago.
Congratulations.
Yes, even bought a house.
So how
I
long-
shouldn't say that, my lawyer back home in Brazil think I'm rich. But anyway,
How long have you been working here for?
6 years, 29 of April.
Know the exact date you started working here?
Yes, I do. Was my freedom.
Freedom from what?
From the kitchen, brother, I used to be a chef.
What was it you didn't like about cooking that made you want to leave?
No, it's not I don't like about cooking, I just had enough, and then my son start school. I have days off during the week, and my son had the weekends off, so it wouldn't match at all, you know, to me, like I'm not gonna be without seeing my kid.
Rodrigo decided Ekko was the place for him, more than a year before he got an actual opportunity here.
I text Amo every month at the same day. It's my name coming up. When I coming up to work with you, or and then one beautiful day he called me. You know, yeah, your name is up, brother. Come to see me, and then yeah, that was it.
Rodrigo was drawn to this job for the same reason a lot of people are.
First of all, the big machines I always like think it's a boy thing when you are a kid. Plus, don't have to deal with a lot of people anymore like I used to. You know, having fun, big truck, new truck. Yeah, I like it.
With the West Coast weather taking yet another turn, it was almost time for the big blast. With the machines clearing out of the pit, Rodrigo dropped me off at the lookout point, where Frank gave me a quick run through on the remote control.
It's just a radio signal from the main box down to a slave box down there. It won't let us fire it if it's picking up a wrong signal or anything. It lets us know when it's all ready to go.
It was ready to go,
So what do I need to do here? Just push these two buttons?
Yep.
and so was I.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Firing now.
That was neat.
Yeah, it was going to be tidy.
We all headed down the pit to see the impact of the blast, and there was certainly plenty of impact. But, as Frank had described, the rock had been pulled away from the coal with surprising precision.
It's a nice boulder.
Yeah, I've seen that.
With that, it was time to let the pit crew get back in and start moving rock. And it was time for me to hit the road. Thanks to everyone at Ekko that showed me around their mine and shared a little of their story with me. Make sure you catch us next time as we visit more New Zealand mine sites and continue to meet the miners.